We love you. Okay, guys, the autopsies are released. A few people have got them in their hands as I speak. They are speaking out, reading them out to YouTubers. There's a lot of paperwork, but mainly it we want to know, how they died and circumstances. And I don't think the autopsies are saying a great deal. There wasn't a lot. Um, the bodies were decomposed, but obviously they were all murdered. Shanann was strangled. There is no doubt about that. But she died a slow death, and he was looking into her eyes. I'm sure of it. So it's not sure whether the little girls were dead before he killed her. But maybe one of the little girls woke up and see Daddy hurting Mommy, and she was going to be a witness. Or was it a plan all along? We're not sure if the children were dead before she got home. We're not sure of that. You can't determine that. So that theory's out the window. But the little girls were not strangled. The little girls were suffocated, as that's what the autopsies say, because they can't see no strangulation marks on their necks. But obviously, little kids are going to struggle, and they have marks on their body proving that they were struggling to get a breath, to get him off of him, get him off of them. Put a pillow over their head so he can't look into their eyes. But he looked into his wife's eyes and probably had a few words to say to her, like, okay, guys, I'm just going to say it because it's a theory. He probably said to her, this is what you've done to my life. You've made my life miserable. You were going to take my children away from me. I wasn't going to have no access. You were going to make this divorce very hard for me to get on with my life. You're going to have me pay this and pay that. And now you're pregnant again? Well, you've just blown my mind. I asked you for a divorce. I've been asking you and asking you. And he said, and after I've killed you, I'm going to kill the children. He was going to let her know what he was just about to do. If I can't have them, you're not going to have them neither. And the whole family's not going to have them. The whole family is not going to be taking care of my kids. If I can't, nobody's going to have them. They're my children. I brought them into this world, and I can take them out. Something like on those lines. He was saying something to her as he was choking the life out of her. But we don't know what started this emotional discussion. I mean, maybe the kids were dead and she checked on them. That could have happened too. But as the autopsies state, as sometimes they're wrong, but most of the time they're not, the cause of death, they were suffocated. But who suffocated them? I mean, Chris Watts pleaded guilty to all counts of murder. But I've heard, but it could be a rumor, you know, these theories going around, but it could possibly be true, that he didn't want to plead guilty to the murder of his children. And when he spoke about the baby monitor and he see her choking the kids, she might have been choking the kids, but it could have been with a pillow. I mean, it could have been. But just the fact that he didn't want to plead guilty to murder of the kids, it's not going to make no bloody difference which way he said it or which way it happened. He was going to prison for murder, termination of a fetus, a baby inside her belly, transporting the bodies to a dumping ground, disturbing evidence. This man has got 3 life sentences, termination of a pregnancy, transporting the bodies to another place, which in itself was like 84 years. Now he's got 3 life sentences. The man was going to prison for life, whether he killed the children or not. But without a trial with a jury, we're never going to know if this is how it truly happened. Just saying. It's still in the back of my head. I'm not 100% on him killing the children. What did the autopsy say? They were suffocated. There's a percentage there that possibly she could have done it. Rage. She could have had rage herself. But as he's gone to prison for the rest of his life, the rest of his miserable life, and yes, when he was in court and shaking, he was shaking so bad his whole body was trembling. People can say he was angry. He was angry because he had to sit there and listen to it with his head down. He had to listen to all this. Yes, that was the family's rights to have him sit there and listen to their statements. But if he was shaking because things weren't all true, what people are saying, because only him knows all the facts. He could have been angry because he didn't murder the kids and he had to admit to it. He could be angry because of that reason. But of course he's accepted his plea because he did not pull his plea. So he sat there with his head down, shaking like a, you know what? His life's over. Yeah. And the family statements made sure his life's over. He'll never be a dad again. He'll never see his family too much because, you know, they don't live in that state. He probably don't have any friends left, but there are a few that's going to stand by him knowing the person he was and who he is today. How could he do such a thing? That's what his friends, his true friends, we all have them. They're not going to, they're going to stay by him, stand by his side. But that don't mean they agree with everything. They just know the person he used to be and was. And they just can't believe it themselves. They're in shock themselves. But that doesn't mean he's going to get too many visitors anytime. And he's going to be one lonely man. But of course, you know, guys, that there's going to be these women out there. Oh, yes, they're out there. They're going to start writing to him. And who knows, might turn into marriage. You know how these crazy people are. I don't know what the law is in Colorado. You know, can you have all these visits and can you get married? I don't know what his rights are. Remember, guys, his rights were taken away. So is that one of his rights, that you are never to be with another woman, to get married? Is it that he can't have no more visitors for the rest of his life in prison because his rights were taken away from him? What rights were taken away from him, in fact? All of them? Some of them? Or just the right to appeal? Which you don't have that right anymore, I'm just saying. The right to have visitors and get married again. Because you know there's those crazy women out there. They've already out there. Before he pled guilty, before his sentencing. It doesn't matter what anybody says. Women are going to believe what they want to believe. We all do. We all have our theories about it. We all not 100% sure. 100% sure what went down. And the girlfriend, the mistress, the bit on the side, whatever you want to call it, she was only in his life for such a short time. Very short time. And as I stated before, he was planning on a divorce, but how long was it taking him to even start the divorce? It doesn't look like there's any information that he started a separation. He went to the courthouse. There's evidence that he called the school and canceled their enrollment because they wouldn't be coming on Monday. And that's before they found the bodies. He already was putting his house up for sale, and that's before they found the bodies. There's a few other things he was saying. He was talking to the girlfriend on the phone that day. And apparently, the mistress has got rid of her texts, but not all of them, selective ones. Now, how and why didn't the DA get a hold of the phone company and subpoena the records? You can do that, but maybe they hadn't got to that yet because at that time he had not made a plea and he had not come forth and even attempted to make a plea. So maybe they thought they had a little bit more time. They would get into that. But apparently the DA's thinking that she really didn't have anything to do with it. They've just tossed her to the side. Well, it doesn't really matter anymore. Oh, yeah, it does. What was in these texts, we like to know. We like to know the facts. We like to know, did she have any inkling that he was about to do what he was about to do? That's what we want to know. Crime watchers want to know. If there's any inkling in those texts along the lines of death, I wish they were gone, out of my life, you know, whatever she said, he said. Obviously, they've got into Chris Watts' texts. I don't know what they say, but obviously they've got into his computer and a lot of other stuff. Did they get into her computer? I don't know. Suspicion is not over on her because of what she did, erasing texts. What was very important about those texts that she would randomly select out of her phone to delete. That's what I want to know. That's what a lot of people want to know. We want to know. But it's all said and done. He's been sentenced and he's a goner. He's a goner for sure. And we hope that he will come and tell it all. Tell it all. Tell us what you did exactly. And why? Ease your conscience. Ease it. Just let it out. Let it out. And hopefully one day he will. And hopefully this man don't kill himself. Because, 3 life sentences, 84 years for the others, transporting the bodies and termination. 84 years just for that. They said he thought this out and is well planned. But I am not 100% sure that was 100% a plan, because number one, if the kids were suffocated like the autopsies say, why didn't this man say the kids were suffocated? He said they were strangled. If Chris Watts killed his kids, why didn't he say they were suffocated? Why say they were strangled? Number one, mistake. But was it an honest mistake? He said strangled. But she could have very well suffocated them. But if he suffocated them, why didn't he say suffocation? That's what I want to know. And then, trying to sell your house on the Monday when they're missing and canceling the kids' school enrollment on a Monday, talking to his mistress on a Monday. I don't think that was planned. He didn't know what the hell he was doing. Because if you're going to plan something, you're going to stick to the plan. You're going to stick to the facts. Suffocation is suffocation. So what the hell didn't he say suffocation? I'm not defending this man. I'm just saying that was his defense. His defense that Shannon, killed the girls. That part I don't understand. And that's why there was such a deal about the autopsies. The defense didn't want them out right away. They were putting up such a stink about it and filing paperwork not to have them released again because they weren't strangled. They were suffocated and put up a fight. Well, who wouldn't put up a fight? And there's people out there saying Shannon didn't fight back. Well, maybe she didn't fight back because she was exhausted, suffocating her children. That'd knock the wind out of you. I'm just saying that's another theory. That's what people have commented on, their thoughts and opinions. But we're never going to know. But his mother and father were spoken to, have come to terms with that Chris has murdered them all. So hopefully that helps her get on with her life and accept the fact. But you know what? As the mother speaks, desperately wanting to look at her son, she wanted her son to look up to her. Well, I would have said, look at me, son, look at me. Just look at me. But I guess she might not have been allowed to say that. But I probably would have got one in as I walk away. But as it's all said and done and they all go their separate ways through the courtrooms, one to the left, one to the right, she probably got to see her son and give him one last hug. Because if she visits him in prison, it's going to be through a window. So she had one good last goodbye and a hug, whatever happens in that room. Who knows? They might have been able to have a quiet word together. She may have asked him a few things. He may have been able to say something. It's all said and done now. So what's the difference? But anyway, guys, that's the end. Or is it? Comment and discuss this video. Thank you.